Hello, and welcome to this brief Let's Play of how to grind AFK in old school Runescape. Now, I'm not going to technically be AFK, but this is sort of what I'd normally do or be doing when I'm working on writing or some other task. This is a fishing colony. Fishing is a great AFK because the fish spawns go away pretty slowly. And fish is also a great way to make money. It's kind of hard to see, but I just have a small fishing net in my inventory, and that's all I have to do to start fishing is just click, and we can just sit here and watch it go automatically. So the reason I'm doing this video is to kind of compare the two different styles of getting wealth in RuneScape. You have grinding like this, which is how a lot of players do it. There's also, as we'll see a little later, the more ethically questionable style of getting resources, but I will save that for talking about that for a little later. So this fish is actually pretty, generally when you're trying to make money with fishing or AFK, you want to do the thing that, basically the highest kind of resource you're able to acquire. So my fishing level is at 69, which is pretty good. The highest you can get in a game is 99, and as you continue to increase the level, you have to continually get more XP. In Runescape: The First 20 Years, which is a very good book about the history of the game's development, I think they say once you reach 92, numbers-wise, you're halfway towards earning the points you need to reach 99. You can see I'm using the Runescape client, which adds a few extra nice features. For instance, when I catch a fish, the XP I earn will pop up, which back in the day you had to hover over, so that's very nice. But anyway, yes, the type of fish I'm fishing are monkfish, which sell for around 300 gold each. The price went up a little bit recently to 350 because they just released a new boss. So in the accompanying article to this, I talk about how I try and find ways in my everyday life to work in playing RuneScape, especially AFK game tasks like this, where I can just sort of sit back, pull up a document or whatever I need to work on, and then just let my avatar do its thing. Another sort of thing that I take into account, though not as often, is prices of things. As I mentioned, monkfish and really all food right now have kind of had a slight bump in price because everyone's going off to the new boss, need to buy more food. So a friend of mine I play with, he tipped me off to that, and so going forward, while I don't do a lot of bosses and raids myself, I will probably keep an eye on when's a new dungeon opening, when's a new enemy opening, and sort of hoard my stash and wait for the price to hop. Yeah. So talk a little bit about other sort of logistics that I think about when I get ready to go out and do fishing or other AFK skilling. Typically I would not wear this, since this is the first video where I do something like this and show off my Runescape account. I chose the most expensive armor I have, I believe. So between everything I'm wearing, it's probably about maybe around 2 million, maybe 1.5 million. And all of it was most of it I bought. I know the mask, which is about 900,000 odd gold, a friend of mine gifted to me. So thank you, Gibbs Babu. I think I pronounced your name right. So as you can see, it's filling pretty quickly. I should point out monkfish, you catch them faster than other fish. So it's not as great for AFK fishing because you have to check in more frequently. I can't show it off because of just sort of staying in this window, but Runescape has a option where if you're in another window, a little reminder will pop up saying you're idle, and I'll have to check, and that'll mean either the fishing spot moved or I need to empty all my fish. So the fishing spot we're at now, you've noticed, hasn't moved, but if you look at the guy kind of over here, his moved. So that's something to take into account as well, but typically it doesn't really move at all. Typically this area doesn't look like this. Oh, there we go. Yep, it's snow effect for the winter season. Right, so we are almost full of monkfish. And there are two things you can do. If you're leveling cooking, which I currently am, that's 70, just reached 73 a little while ago, there is a range over in the upper part of this area where you can go and cook it and then deposit it. However, I don't think we're going to do that today, so we can head over to the exchange. So first, actually, let me check to see if we do have enough time. Oh, let's see. Yep. Yeah, so for the sake of time, we're not going to go over there. And that's something I'll do a lot when I'm just, really focusing on something and can only periodically check back. Because to click over there and then click over to the bank, it just takes less time if I'm trying to get a paper done, and like that's my priority. So this is the deposit box. We can deposit all our inventory. And now we can see the next part of it, which is where we go to sell it, which is the Grand Exchange, which was implemented in 2007. So it's been around a good while. So to give that, we need to go to Varrock. There's another teleport option nearby that we could use to get us a little closer, but to get the full experience of approaching it from the front, let's teleport to Varrock. So we got our runes. And let's go to Varrock. Awesome, so now we're in Varrock. This is in a free-to-play area. Well, this is in both members and free-to-play area. And that's one of the wonderful things about the Grand Exchange and kind of RuneScape's economy in general. It's a very important and involved aspect of the game in both the members and the free-to-play areas. See the music shifting. And here we have the Grand Exchange. Fun fact, the design of this was inspired by the New York Stock Exchange. Okay, so we don't have a whole lot of spammers. So let's see if we can hop to a world and get a better idea of why this area is often called the Las Vegas Strip of RuneScape. So you find a world. Oh yeah, because there's only 300 people in this world. Jeez. Something else I should note is this. So RuneScape's kind of weird in that there's RuneScape and then Old School RuneScape, which is a reboot. Oh, here we go. Yeah, of how the game was in the early 2000s. I'm a boomer, a millennial type person. I'm not a huge fan of the new RuneScape. So far I've just been playing Old School though. But anyway, yeah, we see two people here that are doing the classic, they're not using massive winning, best win more. And typically with these types of individuals or bots, I'm not really sure what sort of pronoun to use for them, you're either going to have them be just the default sort of clothes you get when you start, or you'll have these very elaborate items. Typically with low levels, you can also tell the account name's a little just, how would you say, sus? Yeah, so typically the hallmark of it is low levels. You'll see a lot of them wearing sort of these fancy, more elaborate stuff. That's kind of a technique that bots will use. Oh, and I'm going to shut up. That's a technique bots will use to make it seem like, wow, see, these people are so level, but they already have such cool, good gear. So it's kind of, it's part of the hustle of it all. So I don't know firsthand what happens when you kind of follow along with their pitch, because I've always been very cautious of interacting with them. Yeah, oh, actually, here we have what could potentially be someone legitimate. You say quitting in the next 25, blah, blah, blah. That's something that happens too. You will get sort of legitimate people advertising that they're quitting and they're just giving away all their stuff. But typically you'll just see people like this. Now, back in the day before everyone navigated to RuneScape and this style of RuneScape was a predominant thing, you would see a lot more of these. But yeah, you can kind of see how they try and get people's attention and how, for a newer player, this could be something they might fall for. I do want to say kudos to the developers, though, because they've done a couple things to keep the less sus. But let's see if we can hop to another world. Yeah, but again, you see like very similar, almost identical wording. Last one, yep. So yeah, that's just kind of the two different sides of RuneScape. You have players who just grind out of themselves while they do other stuff. And then you have these guys. Alright, so I hope you've enjoyed this video. And maybe I'll see you next time. Who knows, maybe I'll make this a regular thing. Bye!